everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1332 of our daily content grind. Yes, I am back in cartoon mode for this because I'm waiting for actual lighting to come in for the new setup. So once that is in, we'll get back to an actual face cam and this won't be so weird anymore. But right now I still kind of need it, so we're going to be doing our usual news roundup here on a Monday. And I thought that I would start it off with an update on the HasLab Omega Prime situation. The cracks in the midsection are very widespread. You've got a lot of people taking their photos and reporting it. The cracks appear in different areas, around the middle, around the sides, all the way through. Yeah, this is a really widespread problem. I think wider than Hasbro originally assumed. So the initial emails people were getting back about this problem was that here's a packing slip, go ahead and pack it back up and send it back to us, and we will see about getting repairs done in around June. Well, some people who got that email have gotten a follow-up email saying, hang on to it, we're still figuring this out. When I sent in to get mine replaced, I was told, hang on to the toy for now, we'll let you know. So at the moment, they don't know what they're going to do to fix the problem. The assumption is that they are exploring the idea of just getting the replacement parts made and shipping them out to everybody, because the alternative would be to have a full facility big enough for potentially over 10,000 of these Omega Primes and a full staff to do nothing but repair this torso problem, pack everything back up and ship everything back out. That's a lot. That's honestly a lot. This is a major disaster for Hasbro. So yeah, I think just getting the replacement parts done and then shipping them out is probably the answer here. That does raise an issue of, we don't know what replacement parts they are going to send. I presume just the chest piece, like this piece, because this is the easiest one for, your normal audience to access and replace. But it does mean that the potential fixes that people have been coming up with for this toy, you might not want to actually do it yet, because you don't know what parts they are going to send replacements for. And if you shave down the wrong thing, they might not work with the new parts. So we might want to just sit back and wait and figure out what Hasbro's actually going to do before we start doing anything. I've completely packed mine back up. Even the Ultra Magnus, I'm not tempting or touching anything until then. But speaking of, the Ultra Magnus is not without issues as well. Some have been reporting yellow with plastic on them, which we thought was done. We thought we know Hasbro's aware of the yellowing plastic issue with recent toys, but they seem to have fixed that. I haven't seen it on recent ones. Well, here we go again. Now, this is a weird type because it is not yellowing evenly, which is what a lot of the others have done. But this does seem to be far less widespread, but it is worth paying attention to because it's one of those things where if one yellows, eventually the others start yellowing. Sometimes. We went through this with, like, the Netflix Soundwave. Mine never yellowed. So that's just a matter of wait and see. And I hate wait and see, but that's what we're stuck with. At least on the Magnus. Structurally, Magnus seems to be fine, though. See, there is the suggested fix, is to sand down that slider piece. I get the feeling the slider piece, because it's I get the feeling the slider piece might not be what Hasbro wants you to replace. Again, it could be that red piece, it could be the gray piece. Until we know which piece they're going to send replacements for and want fixed, don't touch your Omega Primes. I know it's tempting, but just set them back, lay them down, don't mess with them. If you want it repaired, don't mess with it. Okay, let's get into a nicer topic. Wild King has shown off Wave 2 of their energy beasts, and they're looking pretty good. So here we've got Ignite Leo, representing the fire element. I do like how this is circumventing the usual transformation design of these. All of these toys, as I'm learning now, they actually have a very similar design structure. All of them do. but it's just a matter of how cleverly it's used, and here it works pretty well. You get something of a Lyo Convoy appearance in the robot mode, but I like how in the beast mode it's using the standard parts a little bit differently to get that lion proportion. The fact that they're getting so many animal shapes out of like basically the same skeleton is actually kind of impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't mind the look of it though. I like the face paint across the face, like that kind of works. That makes him stand out. Yep, and there's the arm mode. There he is attached to Prime along with some of the other newbies. And yeah, here's the other thing. It spoils one of the other ones, but here we go. Optimus Prime and Megatron can actually hold 5 of the elemental beasts or element beasts. I'm trying to remember the name right offhand. Point being, there's a backpack one, and the backpack one forms an extra chest piece, which means all 5 elements can fit on the chest of Prime or Megatron. So this can handle a little bit more than we originally gave it credit for, which kind of makes this line a little bit cooler. All right, so this one is Spirituon, which I'm going to try... Spirituon, and I'm going to try to pronounce that as rarely as possible because I don't know how to pronounce it. This is our Spinosaur representing the Earth element. Looking pretty good. What I liked about it is it's similar in design structure to the T-Rex, but in the arms it's keeping things a lot longer. So it does have a different silhouette, which is nice to see. And I like the color palette too, with the tan and like the brown earth tones. Works for me. I like the look of it. It's a weird Spinosaur, but I'll give it to them. Megatron also has the 5-point combiner mode as well, and actually makes sense. Like look at our new ones. Look at Spirituon, like next to Volca. His left and right arms with the dino heads coming off. Now that works a little bit better. This one's the name on this one amuses me. Drill No Horn. Drill No Horn. And the thing is, in this context, no can mean of. So that, like, this is drill of horn. It's just interesting. Again, earth tones, heavily on the beige, but more silver here. I do like it. Heavy set rhino mode. I like it a lot. So this is giving the mammals their version of the of the earth design, or the earth element rather. Yeah, neat to see. Now, here's the interesting one. This is Thunderbeak, our first flyer amongst all of these bots. Represents the electric element. However, if we take a look at him, I like the design already. I like that he cuts a different silhouette, and not just with the wings, the feet as well. He is our first aerial. He is a Pteranodon type, and he's in the Dino tribe, which means he's technically one of Megatron's. So I'm assuming at some point we're going to get a mammal that's like a bird, or an avian. But it also forms a fist, which also means it forms a leg, but it also forms the new backpack piece, which allows the 5-member combination, which is kind of cool. Yeah, now just waiting to see which ones the max. I want to say maximals because they're beasts, but like we'll see what elemental beast comes out for the Optimus side of things. If I'm right, thinking back to the element beast so far, I don't think there's a leaf. I don't think it's like an Autobot leaf or a plant representation yet. So I'm assuming that's what the bird or whatever is going to come up next is going to end up as. Curious. I like it though. All right, someone got their hands on the upcoming exclusives for Age of the Prime's Walmart line, which is based on Transformers Cybertron. It is Sideways and it is Excelon. And Sideways is surprising. Like, he actually just kind of looks like a straight-up remake of the original toy, with just translucent plastics taken out. Which, you know what? I'm not going to complain about. Works for me. Entirely works for me. Yeah, like, size-wise, they're comparable, which is actually surprising to me. Comes with a tiny little Energon key that doesn't quite work, but you still can do the Autobot to Decepticon change. That part works. The wings, tips, the blades, those are manual. And can we get a size comparison? I mean, yes, the vehicle mode looks very, very good. Can I get like a full comparison shot? And yeah, the robot looks good. He actually has a waist joint now, which is nice to see. That's something the original did not have. Also, he has ankle tilt. So the modern articulation's all there. Love to see that. Weirdly enough, the robot mode stands actually a little bit taller than the original. That's so weird to see. That's really weird to see. I'm not complaining. It's a beautiful thing, but it also did not, caught me off guard. Man, I'm assuming because his proportions are so lanky, they had the plastic budget to make him really tall. So he's even taller than like a standard combined deluxe, which is great to see. Just as tall as Excelon, though. So let's get to the Excelon shot. I want to see Excelon now. Yeah, going with the US deco rather than the Japanese, which is really just a plastic swap. The paint mask was exactly the same on the red Excelon toy that I reviewed way back in the day. I like this one better, honestly, because it does strike a little bit more of a unique color scheme. Like it is obviously homaging Hot Rod, but it's doing a little bit of its own thing as well with gray. Yeah, I'm looking forward to both of these a lot. Like, these are just really, really nice looking figures. And of course, I love the throwback to Cybertron. I'm getting nervous because now people have this in hand, and I'm still waiting on them to announce and reveal the Black Star Scream Voyager that became Cybertron Skywarp, which, as you know by this point in the channel, my dream repaint. Buddy of mine did one for me, but I want a production one. I want one where I'm not scared to mess with it because I don't want to break the paint. But speaking of the Seekers, we also have the first look at the War for Cybertron Thundercracker, completing your trio of Seekers from that arrangement. I'm still not terribly happy with this mold, but I'm glad for the people who do enjoy it. They can get all three of the Seekers now. It's a more the light blue shade for Thundercracker, which is not a bad look. I do like him. I like him well enough. I'm not huge on the mold, but it's good that the Seeker trio is going to get completed. Not too bad, not too bad. And the deco's nice. I can give him that. See, even if I don't like something myself, I can still admit that's a personal preference, and I can still say some nice things about it. We have a little bit of a spoiler coming out of a piece of artwork for Age of the Primes, which seems to show us our first look at Alpha Trion's vehicle mode, which does strike kind of simplistic. You can see where his shoulder guards are, so his arms are just kind of going to go flat against the vehicle mode. The fists look like they're going to be covered by how the legs transform into the cockpit. Not the cockpit, but rather like the nose cone section. It's not a bad looking vehicle mode, but it is going to feel a little bit basic, I'm afraid. Now that is not terribly surprising, because this is going to be based on the 13 Primes version. Doesn't need to transform into anything completely like smooth or logical, but it works well enough, and it keeps him in that like vaguely sweep shape that most of his toys tend to be, because he's always a Scourge retool. So we'll see. It gives us at least some idea of how that toy is going to turn out. We also had this listing come up, which is a fun little thing. So these are for the upcoming Hot Wheels color shifters. Entertainment Earth went ahead and posted the the set, I guess what we would call wave 3 of the vehicles. But what's interesting is 2 Transformers are listed, 2 from the Transformer subset. No idea what those are going to be yet. They're completely unannounced, unseen, but it doesn't look like Mattel is done with their take on the Transformer license just yet. So sit tight, hang on. We should be getting something interesting from them soon. I don't normally go for like the comic book news, but this is kind of awesome looking, so we're going to throw it in, because why not? So they are celebrating the second anniversary of the Energon universe with a linked cover between all three books in the Energon universe: G.I. Joe, Void Rivals, and of course Transformers, showing off the entirety of the cast. Void Rivals there being in the center. The left, I assume, being closer to G.I. Joe, considering it's got Megatron and the Starscream Hiss tank there. But, you know, you see the Joes on the far right with Optimus Prime and the Autobots. It's a really, really cool splash page. Like, this is easily someone's best desktop background right now. I will admit, I'm not reading G.I. Joe or Void Rivals, so I'm looking at this, like, big spread image going, why is Blades there? Why do we have one Protectobot thrown into the mix through all of this? I recognize the others. I know where everyone else came from. Yeah, I see a Wreck-Gar. Wheelie, I didn't know. Oh, no, is that Wheelie? I was gonna say Wheelie, but then my brain went Sandstorm. I think it's Sandstorm. Okay, you get my point. You get my point, though. Like, I'm not up on everybody in the shot. I see an Alpha Trion, too. It's a really, really cool shot. It's a really cool way of celebrating the anniversary. I can't believe we've had these comics for 2 years already. You know, it feels like they've always been around to this point. All right, so the Action Battler blind boxes are out. So Series 1 is in hand, so we get to actually see how those turned out. There's your Gold Chase Optimus Prime, by the way. These are nice little action figures. Nothing really like... nothing like insightful to say or anything, but they just make for some nice desktop size action figures. There you go, about 3 inches tall. So nothing's going to take up too much space. Just enough detail to be interesting. I can tell they are lacking some paint. And the proportions are obviously a little bit exaggerated in spots, but not too bad. Well, except for Megatron's eyes there. I spoke too soon. Megatron's eyes are trying to recede from his face. I don't think that was the intention. Okay, so maybe a little bit cheap. Maybe they're a little bit cheap. Well. They are action figures for Transformers if you like that kind of thing, and they are small in handheld size, so there you go. If you want Optimus Prime guarding your book collection, there's a new set of bookends coming out by Nemesis Now, featuring Optimus Prime himself. Weirdly enough, with a base designed like the Ark, or at least with the Ark's interior pattern and like the traditional orange color there. Not sure why that was necessary, but hey, they threw it in. Also, I'm just going to point this out, proportionally, his head looks massive. But that's just me. Yeah, splitting open reveals some circuitry detail in the Autobot symbol. Some Cybertronics there in the bottom, which I'm sure translate to Optimus Prime. And yeah, there you go. Just if you need Optimus on your books, I guess you just really like having an Optimus whose head you can split in half. So if you are a devout Decepticon out there, there might be a little bit more fun in this than originally intended. Now, if you are overseas, there are some cool Transformer giveaways happening. First off, you have Age of the Primes magnets being given out in Singapore if you spend at least $120 in Singapore money, roughly $92 US. And yeah, they're starting with Wave 1 Primes, so Prima Prime, The Fallen, as well as Solus Prime. Yeah, and then another $300 spent, you get a frame for all of them because they are going to be doing all 13 Primes. So it's kind of cool that they've also like kept that in mind and show you like, yeah, you can have a display as well if you really want it. But yeah, it's a pretty cool little thing. If you really like the artwork of the Primes, you want to see them all together. It's going to make your refrigerator look real interesting. But there's also one being done in Hong Kong, and this is for a file folder. $300 in Hong Kong money gets you just, a plastic file folder featuring the Age of the Primes artwork. File folders are a really popular giveaway item in Japan and other Asian countries, so not surprising Age of the Primes would get one. It's going to be a little bit unusual for an American audience because it's just a plastic folder. What's the big deal? It's a big deal over there. So it's kind of cool that we're getting another one for Transformers. It's an oddball collectible for someone who really likes the Prime artwork. And to finish it off, Hallmark has announced this year's ornaments for Transformers. And they carry quite a... They strike quite different sides of the spectrum. So for starters, you have the 07 Bumblebee in Camaro mode, though this is the vintage Camaro, and it's clean. So maybe this is the Bumblebee movie? Yeah, so it's based on the Bumblebee movie. I should just read the first image before I open my mouth, because that told me everything I needed to know. It's the Camaro from the end of the movie. So yeah, if you like your Transformers or if you like your Camaros, this is a really, really good one to put into the collection. And then we have this shot of Megatron that you can have as well. Seeing him without the arm cannon is a little bit weird. Also weird, that right thigh. Oh my god. Dude is swollen and not in the right way. Yeah, that's not the best look for Megatron, I'm going to admit. It's not the best look. The Hallmark ornaments tend to be like surprisingly collectible. I remember like I have the Soundwave ornament that's like $60 last time I checked, which is kind of nuts. But, you know, so some people just love to have these. They've been doing these long enough, you could probably fill a whole tree with just Transformer stuff now, and I'm sure someone has tried. But that is going to do it for this week's news roundup. That's everything going on in the world of Transformers in the last week, so now you're all caught up. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Please hope and pray that I can get a lighting situation that lets me go back to a face cam soon, and I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.